Welcome back to another episode of JazTV. We're here to talk a little bit more about sales this time. How are you feeling about more questions?
I'm always open to questions. Let's go for it.
Good,
I'm excited.
good.
Let's do it.
All right, first question, anonymous. They asked what the benefits of online auctions are.
Benefits of online auctions.
Yeah.
Well, auctions are a great method of selling a property. Obviously, there's a lot of pros about an auction. Unconditional sale, no cooling off. There's a surety and assurance that the property would sell on a certain day and certain time. That's obviously number one benefit of an auction itself. Online auctions, we've introduced online auctions a lot. In the last sort of 24 months, we've done heaps of an online auction process where some of the times where the property is, we feel is not going to be super busy, or perhaps there could potentially be a situation where there could potentially be less potential buyers for that certain type of a property, or perhaps there is a chance that we want to identify the bidders first. With the online auction, you would absolutely have clarity getting into an auction, how many bidders you're going in with. But with the on-site auction, sometimes people would try to be cute, saying, "Oh, I'm not too sure whether I'm turning up to the auction or not too sure." They'll do all the due diligence, and towards right at the end, they say, "We're not too sure." They'll probably try to sort of create that cloud or smoke in your eyes at the start. With the online auction, they have to register.
Yeah.
They'll have to register themselves with the details and all the information, sign off on the auction conditions, and then receive a link to be able to join online. So they can't hide away, right? So that's one of the best methods. The other method is obviously the other benefit of that is that you can absolutely create that environment of competition, even if there's 3 to 4 bidders, if it's not too many as well, because there's some people would just join to watch an auction as well. A lot of people in community can join as well. A lot of the times the bidders who are not planning to bid unconditionally, they would join, but they will be hoping that it passes in, and then you could potentially then sell subject to finance later. Or perhaps some of the times what happens is that with the online method, it's a bit more of an inquiry that generates more interest as well. So basically, if someone is not sure about an online auction and they read the title, they'll ring you, they'll inquire.
Yeah.
And I've also seen with the on-site auctions, it's a great method. On-site is good that you can actually see and feel the emotions of the buyer. Body language can be felt. You can actually sometimes extract more money, arguably, sometimes not. Like we had an auction on Saturday, even if it's on-site, we squeezed the buyers out with dollars and cents, and they were pretty much maxed out. No one else was bidding. They were absolutely stuck, even though emotions were running high, as you've seen as well. So online auction does have a benefit over on-site auction to that extent where you can identify the bidders much faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, that makes sense.
That's a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. I hope it helped whoever asked that question. Next question is actually from a J, just the letter J. But they asked, overquoting, how can it impact the sale and process, the outcome?
Sale process outcome by overquoting. Sometimes what I see is that if comparable sales are suggesting, let's say the property is between 1.1 to 1.2, and the vendor's expectation is, let's say, 1.3, just because something sold nearby which was not even comparable, but they would like to get that price. There's nothing wrong about it. I'm all about making sure that we go out in the market and hunt for that premium price for the vendors. But some of the times when you overquote the property, then you are working with less competition. A lot of the people will potentially save your listing on their favorites, but they won't turn up at the inspection. It won't turn into an offer. It won't turn into the dialogue with the buyer. And then if, let's say, for example, you've got less potential buyers making offers, you have less opportunity to create that competitiveness amongst them. But when the property is priced correctly, as you know that we have an auction coming up, which is very competitively priced, and we had by far, and that property is circa $390,000 to $420,000. It's not even an expensive property. So far, last night I was reading the stats on that property itself. We had 224 saves on their favorite,
Wow.
and it's a third week of the campaign.
Wow.
And approximately 15 bidders have registered to perhaps or potentially attend the auction.
Yeah.
And we've been getting approximately between sort of 15 to 20 groups at each open home.
Wow.
So I guess it's all around pricing. I always say to people, you can spend $20,000 on marketing, but if your pricing is not correct, that money spent on marketing would not do anything unless you work on the pricing. So pricing is absolutely critical. What I say to vendors is, let's say for an example, if you go in the market with, and you know that you're pricing it high and it's been second week, you're getting no one through the door, or perhaps there's only one or two people coming to the inspection, but the online inspections are pretty busy. Okay. That means it's not tempting them to jump in the car and come to your property.
Okay.
So you ideally need to look at, do we need to change the marketing, or does it need a price adjustment?
Right.
And sometimes with the price adjustment, it doesn't mean that you have to accept a lower offer. It just means that you're creating that environment, that potential opportunity for yourself to create competitiveness. I've seen the new wave of buyers come and kick in the third, fourth week as well, if you reprice a property as well. Oh, okay. But best advice, go with the right pricing from the day one, because first 3 to 4 weeks are super important in any campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, 100%. Okay, well, I hope this helped, Jay. Move on to the next question.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
All right, perfect. This is anonymous again, but they were asking what the future of Boardwalk Boulevard is.
Future of Boardwalk Boulevard in Point Cook. Certain parts of Boardwalk, I would say I'm super excited about it. I'm raising my hands if obviously I see further action. I would be acquiring one more property myself as well, because what we have seen is, the increase in the population, if you look at the data, and you see the number of, there's a shortage of commercial real estate, commercial property real estate. In our marketplace, we only got few shopping centers and the rents are quite high. Yeah. So as we have seen in Werribee and Hoppers on the main road, main arterials, the property have changed to semi-commercial or medical, or perhaps an accountant's office. They have signage outside as well. And some of the times, obviously, with if it's not fully rezoned to commercial, there would potentially be an opportunity for a lot of professionals, or perhaps either your chiropractor, physiotherapist, or something along those lines. You could potentially run a home-based business. There's some requirements for that that you can fulfill, and you can even apply for signage from the Wyndham City Council, subject to approval and subject to your design guidelines and their guidelines itself. So I'm excited about Boardwalk. There's definitely going to be a more exposure, and a lot of people would be acquiring properties in future. I foresee it personally, that there will be a lot more semi-commercial or home-based businesses coming up.
Yeah, this is something you're a stakeholder of as well.
Of course, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Our office is here in Boardwalk Boulevard as well.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I hope this helped whoever asked
Thank you.
the question. The last question is from Jenny. So I believe, Jenny asked, what if no one or less people are turning up at the open?
Like I answered before, Jenny, about the pricing, what I normally say to people is that, let's say for an example, you have to look at what standard ad you've used. Are you using premier ads on realestate.com? Is your advertisement having good quality photography? Has your property been presented really well? What's the pricing compared to what you have, what your expectations are? What's been recently sold? Comparable analysis is super important. At the same time, having that balance of what your property could potentially represent as a value point of view to the buyers. Let's say if a property sold nearby at 780, which is very similar to yours, but yours is in a better location, close to school, maybe shopping centers, you can potentially price a little high. But again, at the same time, you have to just dissect. I remember when I was selling my property in one of the suburbs, where it was one of my investment properties there. We priced the house at a certain level, and I was hoping to get, and we worked on the presentation like anything. We spent about 3 weeks to ensure it's presented really well. Yeah. No scratches, nothing on the walls, absolutely clean and tidy, and professional cleaning done thoroughly, like twice. Wow. To ensure that people walk in absolutely done, ready to move in. Now, first open home, I was expecting about 15 to 20 groups. I only had about 4. And 4.5, I should say. One was asking about someone's house in the neighborhood. Oh. So I'd say 4. Thereafter, the moment that happened, it was a wake-up call. I changed the pricing straight away. I tweaked it a little bit. Next open home, we had 15 groups. Wow. So sometimes it's a marketing. I also look back, is my marketing good? I knew it was, because I made sure we went with the top quality marketing. And at the same time, then we looked at the pricing. So there's few factors you have to, it's not a straight answer that is it just a pricing or the marketing. You'll have to see it in combination, not in isolation, Jenny.
Well, I hope that helps, Jenny. It's a really good question.
Absolutely. If you need more clarity, more than happy to answer. If you can give us a call or leave your phone number, we can give you a call and assist you further, Jenny.
Yes, perfect. If you guys have any other questions, let us know.
Yeah.
Lovely to answer in the next video.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. And if you have any questions, send them through. Your questions and your questions would absolutely help us to give you a bit more insight on what we can do to assist, or perhaps what you can do and how we can add value to your journey. Take care.